The Constitution of the Republic of South Africa was approved by this court, the Constitutional Court, on the 4th of December 1996. It would take effect a year later, on the 4th of February 1997. This court serves as a protector and ultimate guardian of the Constitution. But before it took effect, the late former President Nelson Mandela signed the Constitution into law in Sharpeville in the Vaal Triangle on the 10th of December 1996. Sharpeville, one of the oldest townships, was chosen as a commemorative gesture in remembrance of the 69 people who had died during a peaceful demonstration. They were demonstrating against the vicious past laws on the 21st of March 1960.
We solemnly honor the pledge we made to ourselves and to the world that South Africa shall redeem herself and thereby widen the frontiers of human freedom.
The Constitution drastically transformed the legal, political, social and economic landscape of the country. At the time, government asserted that the crafting of a vision for a new democratic South Africa reflected in the Constitution was a deliberate choice.
That was a choice the ANC made, to go for constitutional democracy, because parliamentary democracy was proven to be a dictatorship that was used by the apartheid government for various and nefarious activities that led to the perpetuation of prejudices against black people. And the parliament there was no checks and balances. But in a constitutional democracy, there are checks and balances, the executive, the separation of powers, there's parliament, and also there's courts, which stand as a guard of the constitution, to ensure that everyone in society complies with the Constitution.
The esteem the South African Constitution enjoys is largely due to its attempt to give effect to citizens' socio-economic rights. Besides human and political rights, Chapter 2 guarantees the right to housing, healthcare, food, water and education, amongst others. Lamula says inequality based on past racial discrimination necessitated the need to ensure redress.
The Constitution had to be transformative. It then gave directive to government of the day to put legislations to achieve the socio-economic rights on issues of water, access to land, access to health, access to education. Hence, we have been able to move progressively towards issues of water access, human settlement, and as you are aware, on the land, we have been able to do some work in terms of the Restitution Act and also the redistribution, where we have been able to redistribute about 11% of the land, which is still not enough, but at least something was done.
The land should have been returned into the hands of the rightful owners.
The recent debates around Section 25 of the Constitution have, however, questioned the Constitution's ability to resolve issues such as land inequality. Political parties, such as the Economic Freedom Fighters, have asserted that the clause stands in the way of proper land reform in its insistence that landowners be compensated for expropriated land. The Constitutional Court, as the custodian of the Constitution, ensures that the values and principles contained in the country's apex law are not contravened. Some legal minds say there's been decreasing focus over the years in advancing the material conditions of ordinary people.
The Constitutional Court initially started off with, for instance, TAC, the right to life through the death penalty, antiretroviral medication, the right to housing. It started off very well from that perspective, and that foreshadowed what we thought would be coming for years to come. But what has happened with the Constitutional Court over the last decade, 15 years or so, is that it has waded into government space. You know, we have been dealing with the motion of no confidence, for instance, for the president. We're dealing with Nkandla. We're dealing with so governance failures. And what we're seeing is the Constitutional Court is really weighing very closely, teetering on the edge of keeping the country alive from that perspective, because Parliament is not doing its job.
Despite its imperfections, for many South Africans, the Constitution remains a barricade against the excess of executive power, a beacon of hope towards a better life, and a promise of the upholding of dignity for all citizens. Yolisa Njamela for SABC News in Johannesburg.